it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, May 16th. So today we have the moon in Aries, giving us that fire energy, giving us that ability to kind of rip the rear view mirror off of the car, so to speak. We don't want to look back. We want to be present. And if anything, we want to take action in actually moving forward. So that's going to create a little bit of a cluster F because we're not really in a time of action. We're in a time of rest, reflection, recalibration, reorganization, restructuring. So we're not initiating anything new. We're not bringing anything new to life at this particular point in time. If anything, we're taking action on cleaning up the details, the mess, the loose ends of the past. Even more than that, the actions that we will and should be taking is in our inner realm. The action to rewrite our emotions, to reframe our memories, to flip the script of our mental narrative. We have a lot of different energies coming at us this week. Go ahead, take a listen to the ascension forecast if you haven't already. We have Jupiter moving into Taurus here today, which is going to be a major, major shift. And it's a good thing that it's taking place here today because today is the slowest, quietest day in the cosmos that I think we've had in a very long time. Why do I say that? There are 5 different aspects, 5, compared to the normal, 11, 15, 13. Very rarely do we see a day where there are 5 different aspects. 4 of those aspects involve the moon because the 5th aspect is Jupiter moving out of the critical crisis degree of Aries energy and moving into that 0 degree of Taurus energy. So before I actually jump into the aspects, I also want to remind you, and again, we touched on this in the ascension forecast for this week, we are moving into a very tough energy. Now, at the critical crisis degrees that Jupiter has been at in this Aries energy, we've already been within orb, squaring off, if you will, with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in this Aquarian energy. He's at the 0 degree. He's preparing to creep back into that Capricorn energy and will do that very early on in June. But what we're doing right now, especially moving into the 0 degree of Taurus energy, we are directly squaring with the god of the underworld, Pluto himself. This square is going to put us in a lot of conflict, a lot of tension. And again, may I just repeat myself here? If you are pressurized into making a choice, into making a commitment, into making a decision that will have a major impact on the direction of your life, please hold off until at least the first week of June. June 11th primarily would be a better day to actually, set the goal to. But if at all possible, if you can kind of pause that pressure, pause that intensity, pause that urgency to decide to pull the trigger on something, if you can hold off till the first week of June, you're going to have a much easier time bringing these changes into effect, seeing the new path and direction unfold naturally and organically with ease, with grace. If for some reason you pull the trigger, make a decision, make some commitments while this square is kind of popping off from now until the first week of June, just be prepared to have to retrace your steps. Be prepared for bumps, for bruises, for challenges, for obstacles. Things will not go as they should. They will not flow as easily, as gracefully as they should. And you are going to have one hell of a time. But we're already entering into this square, into this conflict, into this tension point. And of course, Jupiter is pushing for growth and transformation. And, they have that in common. Pluto wants transformation as well, but he's retrograde. So the transformation that has to take place within us first, within our mental plane, within our narrative, within our emotions, within our limiting beliefs, within our fears. And when we kind of override that and the tension of this square kind of dissipates when we enter into June, we'll have more information and details, a different perspective, if you will, than we will have from now until then. So it is going to feel very tension filled. It is going to feel very intense. And again, Jupiter tends to turn the volume all the way up and magnify whatever it is that we're thinking, feeling, experiencing, whatever it is we got going on. So just prepare that this shift, as nice as it may be in the long run, is going to get off to a very, very bumpy start. So with that being said, the moon in Aries will kick off the day with a very beneficial interaction with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who again is retrograde in this Aquarian energy. Lucky for us, we are able to do a deep dive in the psyche that, of course, Pluto leads us on in order to examine our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, our negative narrative, our limiting beliefs, where it is that we're essentially blocking ourselves, where it is that our unconscious programming is preventing us from making the choices that our higher self needs to make in order to get on the path to reach our mission, to reach our meaning, our purpose, our potential. The beautiful thing about the moon in Aries is that we don't F around. We identify a problem, we tackle it head on, we take a straightforward approach, we burn through that cord, through that attachment, and we move on. And so whatever it is that we're able to unearth, peeling back the layers of our not so nice narratives that's preventing us from making some of these major change and transformations, we are going to be dissolving, lighting on fire, disintegrating, if you will, freeing us up to actually make the change and transformation in our inner realm so that we can engage the mind, the body, the soul, and actually prepare to take the action when there's a strategy put into place in our physical realms to mirror back the changes, the transformations that are already taking place within us. The moon in Aries comes up, bumps into, sits next to, conjuncts Chiron, the wounded healer, who's been in this Aries energy for quite some time. This is essentially giving us a blast of power, a blast of aggression, a blast of inspiration, motivation, determination in order to really bring to life this new version of ourselves that we've been working on. And of course, these new versions of ourselves are only even established because of the inner healing work that we've been able to do. We've been growing. We've been growing through what it is that we've been going through. We've been feeling what it is that we've been healing, and we have reached a certain point where we're not going back to the old version of ourselves and the old circumstances, the old realm, the old reality that old version actually created. This is a spark, a fire, a flame, a reignition, if you will, of the power needed, the excitement, the passion, the desire needed in order to make a change. And if you have to tap into anger in order to see where it is that you are tired and frustrated of living in the same old, then use that energy as well to light the fire, to keep that flame lit, to push you forward in making the changes that you have to make in order to create distance from the old structures that you're looking to collapse. We have midday Jupiter moving into Taurus energy. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular event, I'm going to recommend you do that. We definitely have a very, very big year ahead of us with Jupiter in this Taurus energy. We're going to make a lot of growth. We're going to make a lot of changes. We are going to stabilize our realm of experience. We are going to work on our self-worth. We are going to see huge rewards come in the physical form of monetary level ups and possessions. Do a deep dive in that astro forecast. Check your chart. See where this transit is actually moving through your chart. That's a good indicator on where it is that you're going to see the most growth, the most opportunity, the most rewards and blessings come back at you over this next year while Jupiter is in Taurus energy. The moon in Aries interacts with Uranus in such a way that's going to provide us with a different perspective, a different outlook on some of the choices and opportunities that we currently have on our plate right now. Keep in mind, though, again, I just need to remind y'all, Mercury just came out of its retrograde. We're not seeing things clearly. We don't even have the information and the details that we need to have in order to make an informed decision. We're still in eclipse energy. Things are still whack. The fog is still there. Confusion is still at an all-time high. So although new perspectives, new aha moments, new directions, opportunities, paths are emerging, we still don't fully understand the scope of what aligning with some of these path directions and decisions would mean. We do have to kind of exercise patience, and that is the last thing that the moon in Aries wants to do. Lastly, the moon is going to semi-square with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, in this Pisces energy, deconstructing our old belief system, our lies, our disillusions, our spirituality. Now, why do we need to deconstruct our spirituality? Because a lot of that has been built on lies, delusions, falsehoods. We are examining our fears. We are also examining our dreams, our visions to actually move forward, create something new. But of course, we have to get rid of the old gunk before we have a clean slate, a clean space in order to actually build upon. And that's what Saturn is all about. He needs us to kind of get prepared, get our hands dirty, so to speak, and recognize that you can't just sit back and hope and dream and wish for things to take place. You actually have to roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, take action, and do something to build the structure that is needed in order to house the dreams, the visions that you are currently looking to manifest. So this particular interaction is definitely going to bring a little bit of a reality check, definitely bring out negative Nancy, probably a cameo appearance from Debbie Downer. And we are going to tap into the not so nice aspects of the moon in Aries, which is anger, frustration, agitation. Why? Because things aren't moving fast enough. We aren't able to take action in the way that we want. We're not able to take risks at the moment. We aren't pushing ourselves forward. We aren't initiating anything new. Instead, the only actions that are being supported are wrapping up the loose ends of the old. And the moon in Aries isn't really a fan, if you will, of absorbing, of obtaining, of energizing himself to have anything to do with the past. The moon in Aries wants us to push forward, be innovative, pioneer, be independent, really kind of take the leadership role to blaze a path moving forward into the future. Has no time, energy, or effort for the past. But here's the thing. Mr. Saturn needs us to pump the brakes so that we're not moving as fast as the moon in Aries would like. And again, in the Pisces energy, this is about what we have to bring to an end, what we have to close the door on, where it is that a completion point is needed before we can start fresh, before we can blaze that path forward, before we can start working on our future.